going to go ahead and get started. First, I'd just like to welcome everybody and thank you for coming out tonight. My name is Amy Begemann, and I am one of the founding members of ODPRO, which stands for Odessa Progress. Basically, it's a community group that is focused on working together for positive progress in Odessa. If you want any further information about ODPRO, just see me after the meeting, and I'd be happy to talk with you then. I do want to take a few minutes to acknowledge our businesses that are here tonight. We have the Mixing Bowl Bakery. If you want to wave when I say your business. Thank you. Thunder Ridge Studios. Tucker Liquor. Show Me Imaging. The Odessan. Lambert's Cheesecake. McGrath Electric. Veterans Home Care, LLC. Looks Unlimited. B&L Bank. Watson Appliance. Jennifer's Personalized Party Cakes. Carol Peters Added Touch. And Mark Davidson, LJS Graphics. Thanks so much for coming out. I do want to say that for our local businesses, when they bring in revenue, so does the City of Odessa through sales tax. So I'd really like to encourage everyone to shop local any chance that you get. I do want to say a special thanks tonight to Rick and Gail Hempy. Rick's the one working the video camera. He is videotaping tonight's meeting. It will be available on our website at www.odpro.org on Saturday. And so if you know anyone that was wanting to come tonight but couldn't make it, be sure and let them know that they'll be able to watch it on Saturday on the internet. Also want to say a special thanks to the Mixing Bowl. They helped with the refreshments tonight. And finally, I want to thank Mayor Justin Murry and City Administrator John Holmes and the City of Odessa for providing this opportunity for the citizens to come out and hear about all the great things that are happening in Odessa right now. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Odessa's City Administrator. He's doing a fabulous job, Mr. John Holmes.
I just want to give you a quick rundown of what we're doing. Our goal is usually about an hour. I had a professor that always said that the mind can absorb what the butt can endure, and I really believe that. So we're trying to keep this to an hour, just a little bit more than that. The mayor will be providing a State of the City address. That's what we'll be doing first. And after that, I'll be giving a short presentation that talks about the bond issue. And then after that, we'll be doing some questions and answer session for any folks that have anything that they would like to comment on or questions. Just a couple of things is that we have Joey McCliney here. He handles the city finance when we're financing big projects. Also, the Public Works Director, Paul Conway, is here to help us with that as well. I just want to say that I've been here just about 6 months, or actually just a little over 6 months. The 6 months have gone by very, very fast. I've appreciated the opportunity to meet a lot of you and to get acquainted with you, and also to work for you and for this community. And one thing that has just been great is that I've worked with a very, very forward-looking board, a board that is very committed to doing what is best for the city and to continue to move Odessa forward. And sometimes that takes tough decisions, but I'm very, very happy and pleased and feel very blessed to be working with the board that I have. One of those members, technically not a board member, but the mayor, is working with Mayor Murray, has been very, very productive and very, very good. And again, I feel very blessed to have that. So without further ado.
Just to reiterate, the hour is not just for me. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. But again, thanks everyone for showing up tonight on a Monday evening. It has been a great honor to serve as your mayor over the past year. When I began to serve on the Board of Aldermen, I did not expect to become mayor at that time. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, I was put into that position, and I want to thank the board for their confidence in me, as well as the citizens of Odessa who have encouraged me and counseled me since taking office. So as we begin another year, I want to kind of take a look back at the state of our city over the past year. Odessa, like many other small communities in Missouri, has faced many challenges, both internal and external. And they have been difficult, but through the work of the Board of Aldermen, city staff, and dedicated individuals and volunteers from within our community, Odessa has been able to rise above most of those challenges, and we continue to move forward. The Board of Aldermen has made finances our top priority. While revenues continue to decline, as Amy had mentioned, any dollar you spend in Odessa helps helps the city. Revenues decline. The board has stressed responsibility and accountability. To give you an example of how our revenues have been impacted, in 2008, the city budget was $15.6 million. In 2011, that had already dropped to $13.1 million. And this current fiscal year for 2012 is only $11.7 million. So in the last 4 years, our budget, our revenue has dropped 25%. So we only have 75 cents of every dollar that we had in 2008 to spend towards our infrastructure and other needs. And that's also an 11% drop from last year, just to give everyone an example of the financial crunch we are trying to face. But with that in mind, the Board of Aldermen has created the Finance Committee. This is a committee charged with monitoring the city finances and reviewing those and making sure we are using our resources as we should. They also take the time to come back to the Board of Aldermen and report all those findings that they have on how we are utilizing your finances. The board has been working closely with the city administrative staff, and we continue to try to get the financial health of the city back in check. And to try to get that back in check, the Board of Aldermen also approved a resolution to make sure that we strive to have 6 months of operating revenue within our city funds, especially the general fund. Essentially, an operating reserve is an emergency reserve for the city in case there's any type of crisis, emergency, unforeseen expenses, such as the tornadoes we've seen around the Midwest over the last week. That's what that fund is used for, to help in those types of crises. Back in 2010, the audit report showed that we only had 5 weeks of operating reserve, and said that we really need to focus on pushing that towards the 6 months. I'm happy to report that after our recent audit report, we are now up to 5 months into our operating reserve, but we are continuing to try to push and hit that 6 month. The increase has really been due to the city staff and Board of Aldermen really trying to find ways to cut costs or try to cut back where we can. We know we don't have the finances that we need to really operate, so we're trying to find everywhere we can to make ourselves work as efficiently as possible. We really need to be stewards of responsible spending. Everyone knows you need to kind of watch your dollars and where you spend them. And the city is taking that to heart as well and trying to spend your dollars as efficiently and productively as possible. But it is also important to remember that the city is responsible for providing amenities, services to all of the citizens, whether that be the water, wastewater, electricity, and we have to do that in an efficient and effective manner that ensures public good. The board has had to make difficult decisions in order to be responsible custodians of the city's resources and finances. No one wants to have increases to their city utilities, but sometimes those tough decisions have to be made, such as the increase that the board approved over the past year. But the water and wastewater are funds that have to support themselves, and we were in a position where we were not covering our own cost. We were operating in the red. And so we need to be responsible for your dollars and operate a business like a business. The board is committed also to looking forward, not just what the city needs now, but what do we need in the future, and making sure that we get to be a community of what we want to be. So in that regard, the city staff and really focused by our city administrator, John Holmes, pushed for a 10-year community capital improvement plan. That plan was put together by city staff and reviewed by the Board of Aldermen. It makes it possible for the Board of Aldermen to be proactive in meeting future needs. It gives them a guide as to what our city will need in the coming years, as well as future boards. So it's not something that's tied to this board, but something that future boards can use as well. And it's also used as a financial planning tool for the future. It's been a great asset and will continue to be a great asset. And that's one of the great things that John has already implemented in his first 6 months. Now, there are also other considerable amounts of things that have been completed in the past year that aren't necessarily headline grabbers that you have heard, such as fixing the dam at Lake Veneta at no taxpayer cost. There are a lot of other things that the city staff has accomplished, and I'm going to go through each of these departments and just give you some understandings of, with the financial crunch, what the city departments have still been able to complete. I'll start with the EMS department. The EMS department received the Public Service Awards from not only the Chamber of Commerce, but the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians for their outstanding service to the community. In addition, they maintained their training certifications as a training entity with the Missouri Bureau of EMS, and they have added a budget surplus from their 2011 budget and have watched their expenses very closely in 2012. Because of this, they were able to get a remount or a refurbishment of one of their med units, and they've also been able to purchase new cots. The cots they were using were not considerably safe, so we've been able to purchase new cots for each of the med units that make it safer for all of the people that have to be, in an ambulance, which you don't want to be. Now the police department. The police department has also been able to really monitor their expenses and maintain a high level of service for the community. A new police car was purchased this year to replace a well-used car that was really in need of being replaced. And because of their dedication to safety and welfare in the community, Odessa continues to have the lowest crime rate in the county, even though we are the largest city. The Public Works Department has had a very busy year. The Public Works Department covers your water and wastewater divisions, your street division, as well as your electric division. The department worked hard to gather information, and they helped plan for that entire capital improvement plan. They were heavily involved in that. So thank you for all that work, Paul, and your team. They also started some other major projects. Not only the phase 1 work that we saw, but they also did a complete major paving project on Russell Street, various sealing and maintenance projects, and have also put together a 2012 street plan that we'll be implementing as soon as the construction season starts. They also did a clean out of the water treatment plant, and there were cells 2 and 3 at the wastewater treatment plant were actually closed. These were all part of that phase 1 projects, as well as we had 53,000 feet of sewer lines inspected. So that's where all the camera work was done. And because of that inspection and all the information that was found from that, that's where we now have to move forward and how to fix those issues within our infrastructure. And we'll get to that later when Joey and John get back up. I want to go ahead and move on with the other departments. The Community Planning Division, even though things have been slower, they actually still issued 86 building permits in the year of 2011. And they remain diligent in addressing property maintenance violations and making sure Odessa is a clean and safe community for us to live in. They also continue to put Odessa in the best possible position to manage for our anticipated growth. We've continued to grow, and we hope to keep pushing for that and maintaining and positioning ourselves for further growth. The Planning Division also brought several changes to the Planning and Zoning Commission and also to the Board of Aldermen. And these changes will help the Planning and Zoning Commission in their efforts to make Odessa a forward-looking community that is open for growth. Then the Economic Development Division. The Economic Development Division works as an ambassador for the city, trying to bring additional revenue to it. They were able to get the Enhanced Enterprise Zone designation from the state of Missouri's Economic Development Program. And they also assisted in a job fair out in this building that assisted in multiple people getting new jobs. They also work with county offices on the GIS mapping, which is used for our city utilities. So that's another positive. We recently did an evaluation of the Economic Development Program. The City Administration, as well as the Board of Aldermen and the Economic Development Commission, were all involved in that evaluation. That evaluation is going to be used to help focus that group to better serve the community and reinforce and refocus their efforts to help better the focus of that group. Then the overall administration in the City Hall. If you've been by, you've noticed City Hall is getting a facelift. The front of City Hall was in bad need of needing repaired. The wood around it was rotting, windows were leaky, so luckily we were able to get that fixed and be more efficient as well. Also, the administrative staff is pleased to announce that some of the findings from our past audits have been rectified. They have fixed those audits issues and moving forward and making sure we are being as efficient as possible in how we conduct business. They also want to make sure they're providing the best customer service to our utility customers. One of the things that we are working on, and John, we should have in the next few weeks, is a mail drop box type of, instead of dropping your mail, you have it in the alleyway behind City Hall, where instead of getting out of your car and having to walk in the rain or snow and drop your city utility bill off, you'll actually be able to drive through the alleyway and drop it off like you're putting it into any type of mailbox and not have to get out of your car. So that's hopefully in the coming weeks. We've already ordered it. It's just on its way to get here and we can get it installed. And that'll come out as soon as it's in. We'll make sure everyone's aware of that. So in conclusion, as we move forward, there's still much to do in this community. The Board of Aldermen and I are dedicated to leading the city in a positive direction, leading our community in a direction that takes advantage of every opportunity that affords itself to us. We are committed to making decisions that strengthen our community as a whole and enhances the possibilities for Odessa's future. And right now, Odessa's future is going to be with a lot of these items that John and Joy will discuss with our bond issue. For us to continue to move forward, we need to fix our infrastructure. That was one of the main things when I had the opportunity to meet with the Secretary of Agriculture. He told me the main key to any city, big or small, is to focus on your infrastructure. Without an infrastructure, you can have nothing else. So if we can fix those items below the streets, we can then fix the streets. So the money for these bonds will only be used for water and wastewater and nothing else. But that also frees up money that would possibly be in the capital improvements that we can reallocate to try to put more money towards streets. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and turn it back over to John and Joey so we can really get into the issue tonight, which are the revenue bonds that we really need to focus on for this upcoming election. So I appreciate everyone taking the time to come out tonight and listen to this. And feel free to ask me any questions afterwards. Come up, talk to me. You can always get my number. It's in the paper if you talk to me. So at that time, Joey, John, thank you, everyone.